The night caller. Jenna, a college student, was staying alone in her family's rural home during the winter break. The isolation never bothered her, and she appreciated the quiet. However, one foggy evening, things took a sinister turn. Her phone started ringing, displaying unknown caller. She ignored it at first, but the calls persisted, growing more frequent. Curious and slightly unnerved, Jenna finally answered. At first, there was only silence, then a faint, static-filled whisper. "Look outside." Jenna froze, peering through the nearest window into the fog-shrouded darkness. She could barely make out the shapes of the trees and the old garden shed, but nothing seemed amiss. The calls continued, each time with the same whisper, urging her to look outside. With growing dread, Jenna checked all the doors and windows, ensuring they were locked. The house, usually a place of comfort, felt foreign and menacing. On the next call, the whisper changed. At the back door. Heart pounding, Jenna hesitated, but felt compelled to check. As she approached the back door, the chill in the air grew sharper. Peeking through the curtain, she saw a figure standing just outside, obscured by the fog, but unmistakably human. Panicking, Jenna called the local sheriff's department. The line crackled and went dead before she could speak. The power flickered, plunging the house into darkness, with only the pale moonlight filtering through the fog. Armed with only a flashlight, Jenna navigated the silent house, jumping at every shadow and sound. The figure at the back door seemed to vanish and reappear sporadically, each time closer and more defined. It was a woman, pale and gaunt, with hollow eyes, staring intently into the house, as if searching for something or someone. As Jenna moved away from the door, the air grew colder, and the faint smell of decay filled the room. The phone rang again, this time louder, more insistent. Approaching it felt like moving through water, every step heavier than the last. Lifting the receiver, Jenna braced herself. Instead of a whisper, a clear, cold voice spoke. "You should not be here." The line went dead again, and the house trembled, a deep, resonant sound echoing through the walls, like a heartbeat. Outside, the fog began to clear, revealing the full horror of the scene. The garden shed, long unused, stood open, an old, forgotten well beside it, its cover removed. The figure was nowhere to be seen, but the sense of being watched remained. The story pauses here, leaving Jenna's fate and the mystery of the night caller hanging in the balance, ready to be continued. As the oppressive silence enveloped the house, Jenna felt a mounting sense of dread. The phone, now ominously silent, seemed like a harbinger of doom. The once familiar rooms felt like a maze, each turn revealing shadows that danced and twisted in the moonlight, playing tricks on her eyes. Jenna's heart raced as she debated her next move. The local sheriff's office was miles away, and her car keys were inexplicably missing, adding to her panic. The isolation of the house, once comforting, now felt like a trap, with every creak and whisper magnifying her fear. Determined to understand the threat, Jenna cautiously approached the well by the garden shed. As she neared, an icy wind whipped around her, carrying with it faint whispers and the smell of damp earth. The well, ancient and moss-covered, seemed to beckon her, its darkness pulsating like a living thing. Peering into its depths, Jenna saw something glimmer in the faint moonlight, an object at the bottom of the well that seemed out of place. At that moment, a soft thud sounded from the shed behind her, as if something or someone had shifted in the shadows. The door creaked open slowly, revealing nothing but darkness within. Torn between the well's mystery and the shed's foreboding darkness, Jenna's attention was suddenly drawn back to the house by the flicker of lights and the resumption of the phone's ringing. Relentless and demanding, the atmosphere thickened, and the night grew unnaturally still, as if waiting for her response. Venturing back into the house, Jenna followed the sound of the ringing phone, each step heavy with apprehension. The call, she felt, was a key to understanding the night's terrors. As she reached for the phone, a sudden chill enveloped her, and the voice on the line spoke again, clearer and more menacing. "Look in the mirror." Compelled by the command, Jenna turned to the hallway mirror, expecting to see her reflection distorted by fear. Instead, she saw the interior of the shed behind her in the glass, a spectral figure looming in the background, its face obscured by shadow. The figure pointed towards the well, its movements slow and deliberate. Jenna realized that the well, the shed, and the house were connected by a dark history, the echoes of which were only now reaching out to her. The true horror of the situation dawned on her. She was not alone, and the night was far from over. The events seemed to be leading her to uncover something long buried, something that the mysterious caller wanted her to find. The story leaves Jenna on the brink of a dark revelation. The truth of the well and the shed lurking just beyond reach, their secrets intertwined with the ominous presence haunting her home. With trepidation, Jenna turned away from the mirror and made her way back to the well, each step weighed down by the chilling realization that she was being guided by something unseen, yet undeniably sentient. The night air, thick with mist and the scent of decay, seemed to whisper secrets of the past, urging her to uncover what lay hidden beneath the surface. Approaching the well once more, Jenna could feel the presence of the spectral figure from the shed, its silent gaze boring into her back. She looked down into the well's abyss, the moonlight casting eerie shadows that danced along the ancient stones. The glimmer she had noticed earlier was now clearer, revealing itself to be a locket, its chain caught on a protruding stone just within reach. With a deep breath, Jenna reached down, her fingers brushing the cold metal of the locket. As she touched it, a rush of images flooded her mind. Visions of a young woman, similar in age to Jenna, living in the house decades ago. Her life marked by tragedy and darkness. The visions were fragmented, like pieces of a shattered mirror, each reflecting moments of fear, anger, and sorrow. Compelled to learn more, Jenna opened the locket and found an old photograph of the woman. Her eyes filled with an unspoken plea. At that moment, the spectral figure in the shed stepped into the moonlight, revealing its identity as the woman from the photograph. Her expression was one of deep sadness and desperation. Her eyes locked on Jenna, silently communicating a story of betrayal and loss. the spirit by the locket's mysterious power, understood that the woman was bound to the property, her soul unable to find peace. The night's strange occurrences were attempts by the spirit to lead Jenna to the truth, to uncover the hidden ties between their fates. Drawn back to the house with the locket in hand, Jenna felt the boundaries between the past and present blur. The house revealing its hidden memories, rooms transformed, showing scenes from the woman's life. Her joys overshadowed by the creeping darkness that eventually consumed her existence. In the attic, where the night's events had begun, Jenna discovered a diary belonging to the woman, its pages filled with writings that chronicled her life at the house, her family's dark secrets, and the circumstances that led to her untimely death. The diary hinted at a hidden object, crucial to understanding the full extent of the tragedy, and possibly key to freeing the woman's spirit. The narrative pauses here, leaving Jenna on the cusp of unraveling the tangled threads of the past, her actions poised to either lift the veil of darkness or tighten its grip around the haunted house and its troubled inhabitants. Jenna, now aware of the connection between the shed, the well, and the mysterious figure, felt a surge of fear and curiosity. She knew she had to investigate further to unravel the mystery and end the haunting. With trembling hands, she grabbed a flashlight and made her way to the shed, the night air thick with an unspoken warning. Inside the shed, the beam of her flashlight cut through the darkness, revealing old gardening tools, dusty tarps, and broken furniture covered in cobwebs. As the light swept across the back wall, it illuminated a hidden door, partially concealed by shelves. The door was old, its wood swollen and warped, with a rusty padlock hanging open, as if it had been recently unlocked. Jenna, heart pounding, pushed the door, which opened with a groan, revealing a narrow tunnel sloping downward, its walls damp and earthen. The air was stale, and the smell of decay grew stronger as she descended. The tunnel led to an underground chamber, where the light from her flashlight revealed a scene that sent chills down her spine. The chamber was filled with old furniture and artifacts, covered in dust and cobwebs. In the center, a large stone table held an array of strange, ritualistic items: candles, ancient tomes, and a collection of small, humanoid figures made of twisted branches and cloth. The walls were lined with shelves holding jars and containers, some with labels written in a language Jenna didn't recognize, others with contents shadowed and still. As Jenna explored the chamber, she found a series of old photographs and newspaper clippings detailing the history of the house and its previous occupants, revealing a pattern of disappearances and unexplained events stretching back decades. Among the clippings, a recurring name caught her eye, matching the whisper she heard on the phone. Suddenly, the chamber was filled with the sound of footsteps approaching from the tunnel. Jenna hid behind a large armoire, her breath shallow. Through a crack, she saw the spectral figure from before, its form clearer now, but its face still shrouded in darkness. The figure moved deliberately around the room, touching the stone table and the ritualistic items, as if performing a long-forgotten ceremony. Jenna realized that this figure was tied to the house's dark past, perhaps a former occupant or a victim of the mysterious rituals. The figure's presence seemed to be both a warning and a plea, leading her to discover the hidden truths of the place. The figure paused, turning towards Jenna's hiding spot. As if sensing her presence, Jenna held her breath. The flashlight's beam obscured by her tightly clenched hand, the figure moved closer, its shadowy form blending with the darkness. And Jenna prepared to confront the apparition, seeking answers to the haunting and the night's eerie events. The story halts here, leaving Jenna on the cusp of a revelation. Face to face with the enigmatic figure, the secrets of the house and its spectral inhabitant hanging in the balance, ready to unfold. As Jenna stood in front of the hallway mirror, her heart racing, she watched the spectral figure's movements in the reflection. The figure's gestures were slow and deliberate, as if guiding her towards a hidden truth buried within the well and the shed. With a mix of fear and determination, Jenna turned away from the mirror and headed back outside, her flashlight cutting through the darkness like a beacon of hope. The fog had thickened once more, obscuring her vision and lending an eerie atmosphere to the night. Approaching the well, Jenna felt a pull, a sensation that seemed to originate from the depths of the earth itself. The voice on the phone echoed in her mind, urging her to uncover the secrets that lay hidden within the well's dark waters. As she leaned over the edge, peering into the depths, Jenna noticed a glint of metal at the bottom. Without hesitation, she reached into the well, her fingers brushing against the cold, wet stone. With a determined tug, she retrieved an old, rusted key, its surface etched with intricate symbols. The key felt heavy in her hand, laden with the weight of untold stories and forgotten truths. Jenna knew instinctively that this key held the answers she sought, the key to unlocking the mysteries of the night caller, the spectral figure, and the haunted house. Turning her attention to the shed, Jenna approached cautiously, the key clutched tightly in her palm. The shed's door creaked open with a groan, revealing a scene frozen in time. Cobwebs adorned forgotten tools and dusty shelves, the air thick with the musty scent of neglect. In the corner of the shed, Jenna noticed a chest, its wood weathered but sturdy. With trembling hands, she inserted the key into the lock, the click of the mechanism echoing in the stillness of the night. As she opened the chest, a cold breeze rushed out, carrying with it whispers of a past long buried. Inside the chest, Jenna found a collection of old journals, their pages yellowed with age and filled with faded ink. These journals belonged to the previous inhabitants of the house, chronicling their descent into madness and the dark rituals they performed to appease unseen forces. One journal in particular caught Jenna's attention. It detailed the construction of the well and the shed, revealing that they were not just structures, but part of a larger ritual designed to bind a malevolent entity to the land. As Jenna delved deeper into the journals, piecing together the fragmented history of the house, she felt a presence watching her, the same presence that had haunted her throughout the night. The spectral figure appeared once more, its form wavering between solid and ethereal, its eyes fixed on Jenna with an intensity that sent shivers down her spine. With the key in her hand and the journals as her guide, Jenna knew that the next steps would lead her to confront the entity and uncover the truth that had been concealed for so long. The night was far from over, and the horrors lurking within the shadows were ready to be revealed. As Jenna delved deeper into the journals, the faint sounds of whispers grew louder, filling the shed with an eerie chorus of voices. The spectral figure, its presence looming ever closer, seemed to be both beckoning her forward and warning her of the danger that lay ahead. The journals revealed a dark history of the land, detailing rituals performed by previous occupants of the house to bind an ancient entity to the well and the shed. The entity, known as the Night Caller, was said to be a harbinger of doom, luring unsuspecting souls into its grasp with promises of secrets and power. With each page turned, Jenna felt the weight of the truth bearing down on her. The Night Caller's influence had seeped into every corner of the house, manipulating time and space to ensnare those who dared to uncover its secrets. As Jenna reached the final journal, the shed seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, the air crackling with anticipation. The spectral figure, now fully materialized, stood before her, its form shifting between human and otherworldly. "You have awakened that which should have remained dormant," the figure intoned, its voice a haunting echo of the past. "The Night Caller demands a sacrifice, a soul to feed its hunger and ensure its reign." Jenna's heart raced as she realized the gravity of her discovery. The entity, bound by ancient rituals, sought to break free from its prison and unleash its wrath upon the world. She knew that confronting the Night Caller would be her only chance to stop the terror that had plagued her home. Armed with the key and the knowledge from the journals, Jenna braced herself to face the entity. The shed's walls seemed to close in around her, the shadows twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes. With a deep breath, Jenna stepped forward, determined to confront the Night Caller and put an end to its reign of terror once and for all. As Jenna stepped forward to confront the Night Caller, the shed seemed to warp and distort around her, its walls pulsating with a dark energy. The spectral figure watched her with hollow eyes, its form shifting between human and monstrous. The entity's voice echoed through the shed, filling Jenna's mind with dread. "You cannot stop what has been set in motion," it whispered, the words carrying an ancient weight. "The Night Caller's hunger cannot be quelled." Determined to break the curse that had plagued her home, Jenna raised the key in her hand, its surface shimmering with an otherworldly light. With a steady voice, she spoke the incantation she had uncovered in the journals, the words resonating with power and purpose. As the incantation filled the air, the shed trembled, its foundations cracking under the strain of the ancient magic at work. The spectral figure recoiled, its its form flickering in and out of existence, as if fighting against the spell's potency. A blinding light erupted from the key, engulfing the shed in a brilliant glow. Shadows writhed and twisted, their forms dissipating into nothingness. The Nightcaller's presence wavered, its voice fading into the echoes of the past. With a final surge of energy, Jenna directed the magic towards the well, the source of the entity's power. The ground shook, and the well's stone walls cracked, releasing a burst of dark energy that clashed with the light of Jenna's spell. In the chaos of magic and power, Jenna felt a surge of strength and resolve. She knew that this was her moment to break free from the cycle of fear and darkness that had held her family captive for generations. As the dust settled and the shed fell silent, Jenna stood amidst the remnants of the ancient ritual. The spectral figure had vanished, its presence banished along with the Nightcaller's curse. The well stood sealed once more, its dark waters still and calm. But Jenna knew that the battle was not yet over. The Nightcaller may have been defeated, but its influence lingered, waiting for an opportunity to return. With the key clutched tightly in her hand, Jenna vowed to remain vigilant, ready to face whatever horrors may come and protect her home from the darkness that lurked in the shadows. As Jenna stood amidst the aftermath of the confrontation, a sense of unease lingered in the air. The shed, once a place of terror, now stood eerily silent, its walls bearing the scars of the ancient battle between light and darkness. The key in Jenna's hand felt heavy, its significance weighing on her mind. As she stepped out into the cool night air, Jenna noticed that the fog had lifted, revealing the moon casting a pale glow over the landscape. The familiar surroundings of her family's home seemed both comforting and alien after the night's events. Inside the house, Jenna found herself drawn to the attic where it all began. The mirror, once a portal to a realm of shadows and whispers, now reflected her own weary face, a testament to the ordeal she had endured. But something about the mirror felt different, as if it held a secret yet to be revealed. Placing the key on a nearby table, Jenna approached the mirror, her reflection merging with its glassy surface. The whispers of the Nightcaller echoed faintly, a reminder of the entity's lingering presence. As Jenna gazed into the mirror, she noticed a faint glow emanating from the key. It pulsed with a soft light, illuminating the attic with an otherworldly radiance. Without warning, the mirror's reflection shifted, revealing a hidden compartment behind it, its contents shrouded in darkness. Curiosity and apprehension mingled as Jenna reached for the compartment, her hand trembling slightly. Inside, she found a collection of ancient artifacts, each imbued with a faint aura of magic. Among them was a worn journal, its pages filled with cryptic symbols and faded ink. As Jenna flipped through the journal, deciphering its arcane contents, she uncovered a series of rituals and incantations, each linked to the history of the house and the entities that had once roamed its halls. The journal hinted at a deeper connection between the Nightcaller, the mirror, and the key she now held. With a growing sense of urgency, Jenna realized that the battle was far from over. The Nightcaller may have been banished, but its legacy lived on in the artifacts and secrets hidden within her home, armed with newfound knowledge and determination. Jenna vowed to unravel the mysteries that lay dormant, knowing that the horrors of the past were not content to remain forgotten. As Jenna delved deeper into the journal's cryptic entries, she uncovered a chilling truth. The artifacts she had found in the hidden compartment were not just relics of the past. They held the key to unlocking a darker force that lurked beneath the surface. The journal spoke of a ritual, one that required the combined power of the mirror, the key, and the artifacts to summon and bind the Nightcaller once and for all. The ritual was risky, fraught with danger, but Jenna knew that it was the only way to ensure the entity's permanent defeat. With a sense of determination and trepidation, Jenna began to study the rituals and incantations outlined in the journal. Each page revealed a new piece of the puzzle, a step-by-step guide to harnessing the ancient magic that had once been used to bind the Nightcaller to the well and the shed. The artifacts themselves seemed to pulse with anticipation, as if they too yearned to be part of the ritual. Jenna could sense their power, a primal energy that hummed in harmony with the journal's instructions. As the night wore on, Jenna prepared herself for the daunting task ahead. She gathered the artifacts, arranged them according to the ritual's specifications, and positioned herself in front of the mirror, the key clutched tightly in her hand. With a deep breath, Jenna began to recite the incantation, her voice trembling but resolute. The mirror shimmered, its surface rippling like water, as if responding to the ancient words spoken. As Jenna reached the final verse of the incantation, a surge of energy filled the room, swirling around her in a vortex of light and shadow. The artifacts glowed with intensity, their magic intertwining with Jenna's own. Suddenly, the mirror's reflection shifted, revealing a portal to a realm of darkness and whispers. The Nightcaller's presence loomed on the other side, its form twisted and monstrous. But Jenna was prepared. With a decisive motion, she plunged the key into the mirror's surface, its light engulfing the portal in a blinding flash. The mirror shattered, sending shards of glass flying in all directions. In that moment, the Nightcaller's howls of rage echoed through the house, then faded into silence. Jenna collapsed to the floor, exhausted but triumphant. Yet, as she looked around at the shattered mirror and the remnants of the ritual, Jenna knew that the Nightcaller's defeat was not the end. The ancient forces that had been unleashed were still at play, and the true extent of their power remained to be seen. The horror story would continue as Jenna grappled with the aftermath of her actions and the lingering mysteries of her family's haunted legacy. As Jenna collapsed to the floor, exhausted but victorious, a sense of relief washed over her. The shattered mirror and the remnants of the ritual lay around her, silent witnesses to the battle she had just waged against the Nightcaller. Days passed, and Jenna found herself haunted by the memories of that fateful night. The house, once a place of safety and solace, now held a darker aura, its walls whispering of ancient secrets and lingering malevolence. Despite the victory over the Nightcaller, Jenna couldn't shake the feeling that something else lurked in the shadows, something that had been awakened by the ritual. Strange occurrences began to plague the house. Objects moved on their own. Whispers echoed through the halls at night, and a chill seemed to linger in the air, even on the warmest days. Determined to uncover the truth, Jenna delved deeper into her family's history, scouring old journals and documents for any clue that might explain the lingering presence in the house. She discovered tales of previous owners who had dabbled in dark magic, of rituals gone awry, and of curses that spanned generations. One night, as Jenna sat in the attic poring over ancient texts, a voice whispered in her ear, cold and familiar. It was the voice of the Nightcaller, weakened but not defeated, its essence lingering in the shadows. "You cannot escape me," the voice hissed, sending shivers down Jenna's spine. "The power unleashed by your actions has only strengthened my hold on this place." Determined not to succumb to fear, Jenna confronted the entity head-on. Armed with newfound knowledge and a resolve forged in the crucible of her past battles, she embarked on a quest to banish the Nightcaller once and for all. With the help of a local occult expert, Jenna uncovered the key to severing the entity's connection to the house. A ritual of purification and protection that required the combined efforts of those who had faced the Nightcaller's wrath. Gathering a group of trusted friends and allies, Jenna embarked on the ritual. The house trembled as ancient words were spoken, symbols drawn, and barriers erected to ward off the lingering darkness. In a climactic moment, the Nightcaller's essence was drawn forth, its twisted form writhing in agony as the protective magic took hold. With a final incantation, Jenna sealed the entity away, banishing it to the depths of the void from whence it came. As the last echoes of the ritual faded, a sense of peace settled over the house. The whispers ceased, the shadows retreated, and the lingering malevolence dissipated like morning mist. Jenna stood in the now tranquil attic, surrounded by her friends and the remnants of the ritual. The horror that had plagued her family for generations had finally been vanquished, and the house was once again a place of warmth and light. Though scars remained, both physical and emotional, Jenna knew that she had triumphed over the darkness. The horror story had reached its conclusion, and a new chapter, free from the Nightcaller's influence, was ready to begin.